Hi, y'all. Welcome back. It is Dr. aka EDU_curlz here. And yes, as you heard from my last video, we did have a name change, and that is because we are officially scheduled to defend and graduate. Let's do this. I'm speaking all things into existence with this defense. One, because it is not typical that you get to a defense and you don't make your defense. My SP and I have been very transparent that she would not encourage me to schedule our defense if she didn't think I was going to easily defend, and presentation is really not her stress for me. So we love that for me, but we're still in prayer. We're still going to make sure we prepare for that day, but that is set in April. So we're super, super excited for that because today is actually February. So when you see this, it will be a little bit more delayed, but that's okay, and we love it. So let's dive in today. As you can tell by the title, we're actually going to talk about skincare today because we have a little bit of a switch up, a little of an introduction around some of the things that we're switching and doing with our skincare through this year. All right, so let's dive in. First of all, if you're new here, welcome. Most of my content is around curl content, but I also have some skincare content. And in this year, we're traveling into our health and wellness content as well. And I'm super, super excited for that. So let's dive in. Today, you're actually going to see me steam, which is what I do typically Saturday mornings, really just because steaming is one of those things that is really great for stimulation of skin cells. One of my favorite things, also helps with moisture, elasticity, all of those things. And so it's something that I really integrate into my routine. If you hear the Roomba going, I'm really sorry, but hopefully you can hear me and that sound is great. I'll also try to reduce the background sound in the clip so that there's no issues with that. But let's dive in, okay? So we'll start with, all my wash products are the same, so I'm not gonna actually show you guys those today. What I am gonna show are the things that I do kind of out of the shower, but I still use the Fenty Total Cleanser as well as the Cherry face scrub. I have both of those in the Fenty line, and most of my line is Fenty outside of a few items. I'll talk about masks first. The two masks that I kind of alternate between is the Trader Joe's Pumpkin Overnight Face Mask and the Fenty Cookies and Clean. I have the mint version of this as well, but these are the two masks that I kind of rotate. I actually did this one today before I sat in front of my steamer, and this is typically what I would do on a day-to-day basis at night. I do about 2 to 3 times a week. It just kind of depends, but those two masks. And you're going to see me start to steam here because it is heated up. All right, so that's the first thing. The other thing that I've started doing is the Trader Joe's Gummy Bear Flavored Overnight Lip Mask, which is something I really didn't know that I needed, but it's really good at keeping the moisture balance in my lips. I know it's technically an overnight mask, but girl, I'm going to use it right now. But I really, really like this one as well. So those are masks. I now want to talk a little bit about my toners, serums, types of things in my products. The first things that I'll add are the, actually, let me go makeup remover first, okay? So there are there's wipes and a jelly that I use. The wipe is actually the face and body wipes from Trader Joe's. As you can see, a lot of my skin stuff comes from Trader Joe's, but this one specifically is the cucumber and citrus. This one is really refreshing for the skin, and so after I've worn makeup, I actually start with this first, and then you'll actually see me use the Melt Off by Fenty, which is a jelly oil makeup melting cleanser. So sometimes I use this first, and then I do the wipes. Sometimes I do the wipes, and then I use this first and hop in the shower. It kind of depends on if I'm getting in the shower for the night type of thing, or if I'm getting in the tub, because that kind of changes the dynamic. But this is typically how I take makeup off. These two are the two ways that I will take makeup off. So we've done masks. We talked about makeup off. Let's talk a little bit about serums here. So the first one that I'll preview is the Trader Joe's Rosewater Facial Toner. This is the Hydrate and Refresh. I use this actually typically while I'm steaming as well. But this is sometimes when I'm not wearing makeup, I will use this midday. I have this typically on backup, but this is really just a quick refresher. It's one of my favorite things to use in the summer when I'm at the beach, when I'm at the pool, whatever, and I actually will sit it in my ice, in my cooler to make sure that I just get a quick refresh on my skin and a little bit of moisture and, some love. The other two things that I'm going to talk about are my toners. So one is the fat water, but it's the hydrating milky toner. And then the other is the fat water, the pore refining toner, the regular. And so I use both. It kind of depends on where my skin actually is. As you can see, I'm at the very ends of both of these, and I have two in backup already. But I will rotate between these two. When my skin is really dry and I feel like I need an extra oomph of moisture, I will use this one. When my skin is like, baby, we're thirsty, I will use the milky, which is typically through the winter months. When I don't feel like sorry, somehow I got clicked off. Anyway, when I don't feel like my skin is super thirsty and it's like regular, I will use the regular fat water. And so that's kind of how I use these two. It kind of depends on where my skin actually is and what it needs. The next two are very interesting, and these were actually recommended to me because I went and got a facial at Hand and Stone. And these are by The Ordinary. The first one that I will use is the salicylic acid. This I will use like before bed to really get like at the blackheads in my T-zone, because that's where my blackheads actually sit. And I don't do this all the time. I will do this probably 2 to 3 times a week. There was a point where I did it maybe like 4 days in the week. My skin doesn't really get irritated by it, but it's something that I'm just cognizant of because I know irritation can exist with it. So that's what I will do as my first layer, really, to just get the blackheads out. And then I'll go in with one of my toners and then my moisturizer, and then the other baby that I've been integrating, which is the hyaluronic acid. And this is really, really just to create more of the moisture, and really, really just make sure that my hair is given all of the hydration support really needed. Also by The Ordinary, these are actually pretty cheap, and so this was a really easy like integration into my routine, to be honest. And so I will actually mix this with the last thing that I talk about, which is my moisturizer. This is the only moisturizer that I use. It's my favorite moisturizer. It is Bay. It is like everything that I love. It is the Hydro Razor moisturizer from Fenty. This is a refillable, so I can technically like refill the base of it. But this is another one that I truly, truly, truly love. It smells great. It's super moisturizing. It's just enough for my skin. There are many days where I walk out the house and I only have moisturizer on my face and hyaluronic acid. And that is just lovely. Like my skin just will glow and look great. And so that's really it with my skin stuff. There are some tools that I started integrating. Y'all have seen my jade roller, and you've seen my different tools. I also started repurchasing like these pads to be able to do some of the cleaning that I need to do to my skin. But that's really it. That's like what I've been doing with my skin. It's given me a really great look, to be honest, and really done very, very well. I went back to my esthetician and she was like, Nia, you did that with integrating your routine. She's like, you don't really have problem skin to begin with, but your skin is like at a really, really nice place with you integrating the salicylic acid, but then also the hyaluronic acid. So that was a major win for me. I started that maybe in January, and so that's been really, really great to just see. So that's really it with my skincare stuff. I'm going to continue to steam today. I already did my mask for the day, and so my skin is just going to keep flourishing and look great. I'm hoping that I'll get some sunlight today as well, because it started to warm up here in Houston, which we love. And I'm just integrating a lot more water too to make sure that the moisture balance is like, you know, inherent in my cells to really help with all the things that I'd like to, you know, do with my skin and thrive in my skin. Whoops. And so that's kind of where we're at with all those things. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, if you have questions, leave them in the comments. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share with friends. If you have someone who's looking to improve their skin routine, you want to ask questions, that's great. I will say that I steam about once a week. I will scrub maybe 2 days a week and do my total cleanser on every other days of the week. And then you guys kind of saw how I integrate all the products I showed you today. Masks are really 1 day a week, except for my overnight mask, which I do probably 2 to 3 times a week. But really just taking care of the skin is the most important thing. And then also what you put in your body is also like going to reflect in your skin, right? So there are times where I've had hormonal acne. I have found that when I balance my body with water a certain way or certain foods, those things kind of go away. And so that's really, really important to think about when you're talking about the balance of skin. So that's it for my skincare, as in my face skincare routine. I'm hoping to come back and talk a little about my body care because that's a little bit different. And then we'll also be able to talk a little bit more about kind of how my weight loss journey is going and where I'm at. I'm down a ton of pounds, and so I'm super, super excited since the last time I talked about this with y'all. And so I'm really excited to see where that goes. And then, yeah, that's really it. So I hope everyone has a blessed rest of the day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.